All right, let me ask you a question. If time and money weren't a factor, what would you do with your life? I've asked this question to a bunch of people. I get a lot of different answers. What I want you to do is not think in terms of a job that you can do. Don't think in terms of money that you can earn. Just think in terms of what you enjoy doing, how you enjoy spending your time. Things that stoke your passion, drive you, get you excited. Something that if you were doing it, it caused you to jump out of bed in the morning. So the next question, once you thought of the thing that you would do, if time and money weren't a factor in your life, if you had all the time in the world, and all the money in the world, didn't have to worry about that, my next question would be, why aren't you doing that thing? Now, the number one answer is going to be time and money. And for people my age, around my age, in their 40s and 50s, I'm 47. Another one is going to be I'm too late. I already have a career, kids, responsibilities, can't afford to be thinking about doing something else with my life. I have to be sensible. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing this video if I didn't think that was nonsense. I do. I'm not complete. I do understand responsibilities I have on myself. I have 5 minor children of my own. But what I want you to do with me is this. I want you to imagine a world where you can do what you love and get paid for it. Imagine a world where you can actually live the life that you want to live, that you don't have to dread going to work, because we all know the stats. 85% of Americans are unhappy with their jobs. So if you're watching this video and you're an American and you're an adult, chances are you're unhappy with the job you have. And I think that number is probably even higher, because the question is, are you unhappy with your job? There are people who say they're happy with their jobs, but I know for a fact aren't fulfilled, because I love asking the question. I ask somebody if they like their job and they say, yeah, it's a good job. Then I ask them, would you quit that job if you hit the lottery or had all the money in the world? And the answer is usually hell yeah. There's no way I'm going back to work if I didn't have to. What I'm saying, what I'm proposing is doing work that even if you had $1 billion, you'd still want to do it. All right? And I want you to imagine a world where that's possible, because I believe we're in that world. Technology is the great equalizer. Technology is the thing that causes us to be able to do whatever we want to do. You say time, you say money. I say that if you carve out small slivers of time, and you can probably spend no money getting started on almost any pursuit, that you could slowly build a life where you could be doing what you love. And let me say this to the people my age. If I told you that if you put in the work for 3 years, for the rest of your life, you could do whatever you want to do, would you do it? If I told you that if you put in the work for 3 years, that at the end of those 3 years, you could have a job that you loved, you could have a life that you loved, you could have an income that sustains that life. And I'm not talking about necessarily being rich. I'm just talking about having a sustainable standard of living and being excited to get out of bed in the morning. Would that be acceptable to you? Because I'm 47, that puts me at 50, 3 years from now. And if you're 55, it puts you at 58. Actuarial tables tell us that we'll live into our 80s. I'm not talking about a huge investment in time to get the rest of your life, to have the rest of your life. And technology isn't as tricky as you think. I know a lot of older people are intimidated by technology. You can look up a video on YouTube that will explain to do almost anything there is to do in the world. There's a movie back in the day, people who are my age will know, called Good Will Hunting, when a young Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. And Matt Damon's character says something that always stuck with me. He was ribbing this guy who was going to Harvard. Matt Damon's character was not educated, didn't have higher education. And Matt Damon's character tells this kid, he says, you're spending $150,000 on an education that you're going to realize you could have gotten for $1.50 and late fees at the public library. Now, having professors and stuff aside, that was pretty accurate. There's no knowledge that Harvard teaches is not available outside of Harvard if you know where to look. And that was back in the 90s. I'm talking about right now with the internet where everything is at your fingertips, where MIT is currently putting their entire course catalog online for you for free. You can literally go to MIT right now and take almost any course MIT offers for free. You can get all of the information, all of the books, everything you need for free. So knowledge is at our fingertips. But more than knowledge, technology grants us access. So you say how? So I'll say, if you look at social media, which I think is the technology that's the great equalizer, you take your YouTube, you take your Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, it grants you access to people who are doing what you want to do. People who are in the niche that you want to be in, the thing that you have the passion for. And don't think that these things have to be big, huge niches. There are people who, I know a guy who is a mushroom farmer, and that's all he does. All he does is farm and sell mushrooms to local restaurants, and he's making a living doing this. It can be the tiniest thing that you enjoy. You would be surprised the doors that can be open for you if you start to talk to people. And that's what I recommend, getting into social media and start having conversations with people. Just start talking to people. You would be surprised. Get on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and start just posting how you feel about your passion, what you want to do. And then just DM someone. I challenge you to DM 10 people in your field. Take 10 people who are doing what you want to do, who have the passion that you have, and just direct message them through the social media. And again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, get on YouTube and type in, how do I direct message someone through Instagram? And it will explain. There will be a video that explains it to you. There will be a bunch of them. And just start contacting people. Something I tell my kids all the time is that the world is a good place and people are generally good. Most people want to see you succeed. Think of it yourself. When you see, how many times have you seen somebody run across a finish line, lift their hands in the air in victory, and you thought, you get excited for them. We all do. That's why we watch the Olympics. We don't watch the Olympics to see people fail. We watch the Olympics to see people succeed, and that's almost everyone. You send out 10 DMs, you're going to get someone who is excited for you. And I'm talking about something as simple as, hey, this is what I'm into. This is what I want to do. I have no idea how to start. What do you think? What is your opinion? What is your advice? You throw that out there, I guarantee you, you're going to get a response. At least one. I believe you'll get multiple, but I would be stunned if you didn't get a positive response. Another thing is you're going to be surprised how few negative responses you get. You may get one. I don't believe you would. You may get one or two from people who are just not great people, but for the most part, you'll either get a positive response or silence. That's what you're going to get. But you take that positive response and you cling to it. And you realize that there are people who are rooting for you and want you to succeed. And more so than that, there's a pathway to success in the field that you want to be in. All you have to do is get started. Open up a social media account, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Start a podcast, and all you do is on the podcast, call it My Journey, starring John Smith or whatever your name is, Joanne Smith. And just start talking about what you love. You are going to be stunned at the doors that are open to you, and you will never see these doors open until you take the step to go out and try to reach people who are in your field. Jim Rohn, the late great motivational speaker, he said, you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Well, if you have a passion that you want to pursue, put yourself around five people who share that passion, even 1 or 2. You start getting around people who are doing what you want to do, right, in the field that you want to be in, and you'd be surprised the inertia that drives you. And connecting with these people, again, it's not about money, and it's not about, and another thing is time is not as much of a roadblock as you think. Do this. Spend 30 minutes to an hour a day, 4 to 5 days a week on your passion. Now, most of us watch TV or waste time doing other things. You can carve out that much time. I promise you what's most likely going to happen is you're going to start wanting to spend more time. Once you start connecting with people, especially. Open up your social media account. Don't make it complicated. Start talking about what you love. Direct message people who are in your niche and just watch the magic happen. Watch the doors start opening for you. Those connections are going to be invaluable once you start figuring out how to do what you want to do. You can't figure it out by yourself. You can't do it by yourself. The no man is an island cliche is a cliche for a reason. It's true. So when I ask you again, time and money weren't a factor, what would you do with your life? I want you to really sit down with yourself and think about that and consider what you would like to pursue. And yes, we have multiple passions in life. I'm not saying that there's one specific thing you should do and that's all you should do for the rest of your life. Maybe you start doing this one thing, you find it's not exactly what you want to do, and you try something else. What I am suggesting is that you don't settle. Don't settle for a mediocre life. This life is too precious. We only have one. And I think it makes my skin crawl to think that people are willing to work some mundane job, pay the bills, go on vacation a couple of weeks out of the year, and not experience the fullness of this life, have so many dreams unfulfilled, so many things inside of them that they could be doing with their life, that they could be using, so many talents they have they can be using to touch other people's lives, and they're not utilizing them because they don't think they have the option. You do. You have it. Start a social media account. Start talking about what you love. Start reaching out to people and see what happens. I am the Key Dropper, Cliff Freeman, reminding you that one day your life will flash before your eyes. Make sure it's worth watching.